Hi everyone, I'm Morgan Stevens.
And I'm Carrie Stevens.
And we are excited to welcome you today, wherever you are, to discussion group material based on the sermon series we're looking at together at Mosaic and the book we wrote together. Both are called
Friendship Can Save the World. And that idea is what we'll be looking at for 4 weeks. Not that friendship always does save the world, or that friendship always has saved the world, but that friendship can save the world.
And we're looking into the book of Ruth to see how friendship did that in the world once and just might do again in your world.
So during these 4 weeks, we're asking you to really prioritize meeting together. We realize it's a lot to ask, believe us. We know. We have a group that meets in our home too, so we are really in this with you.
And during that time, we'll be asking you to do a couple of things together as a group. But your video hosts each week, all of whom are community group leaders here at Mosaic, will give you instructions about those at the end.
So each week, you can expect a brief teaching from a chapter of the book of Ruth, a main idea, a quote or two from our book, and what we hope are 4 great questions to ask and answer together. After each question, just push pause on the video and then come back when you're ready for the next one.
And really, above and beyond all of this, our hope is that each person sitting with you around your table or together in a living room or backyard, that you would all grow closer and feel loved by Jesus and one another more deeply as a result of this time.
All right, so here we go. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura.
I'm Berto. Welcome to week 3 of the Friendship Can Save the World discussion group.
By the 3rd chapter of Ruth, Naomi and her daughter-in-law Ruth have eked out an existence in Bethlehem. Thanks to the generosity of a wealthy man named Boaz, the women have access to food and Boaz's promise to keep Ruth safe in the fields. However, wise Naomi has begun to wonder if Boaz's friendship could offer an even better blessing than abundant barley.
When Naomi considered all Boaz had said and done to provide and protect Ruth, she advised Ruth to test the waters of her new friendship with Boaz and see where it might lead. "My daughter, I must find a home for you where you will be well provided for. Now Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." Ruth 3:1-4. When Naomi said she wanted to find a home for Ruth, she used the Hebrew word manoah, which also implies the comfort of security and tranquility. Ruth had sacrificed greatly to cling to Naomi, and now Naomi longed to secure a future full of rest and tranquility for Ruth.
However, Naomi's plan involved great risk for both Naomi and Ruth. If Ruth's actions offended Boaz, they might lose his life-giving friendship. If Boaz was not the man of integrity they believed him to be, Ruth would be making herself dangerously vulnerable to a powerful man. And yet, as modern people, we must remember how few paths forward Ruth and Naomi realistically had as poor widows in the ancient Middle East. Naomi and Ruth decided to shoot for the moon and reach for the rare opportunity before them, a compassionate, generous, wealthy man who could legally restore their land and continue Elimelech's family line by marrying Ruth.
Here's the main point we want to discuss together. Our friendships require we take risks to help our friends attain a happy ending.
Here's a quote from Friendship Can Save the World. "We should commend Naomi for not allowing bitterness to taint her hopes for Ruth. Naomi's generous friendship proved she hadn't relinquished all hope for redemption, even after losing her comfort and security and renaming herself bitter. She didn't become permanently jaded and suggest that all marriages would end in sorrow and despair as hers ended. Naomi hadn't deconstructed her life to the extent that left her with nothing to offer when Ruth needed wisdom and guidance. Despite all she had gone through, first on the road back to Bethlehem, and now here with a man like Boaz in view, Naomi told Ruth both times there could still be Manoah in her future. Naomi said, I want to be the friend who helps you experience rest and tranquility. And then she went for it. Naomi didn't just talk about it, she made a plan to find it. Friendship can save the world, chapter 7.
Now, let's discuss the implications we face as we take risks to enrich our friends' lives. We have 4 questions inspired by Naomi and Ruth's courageous choices. First question, how could Ruth's loyalty and commitment to Naomi in Ruth 1 have inspired Naomi to retain hope for a better future? Take a few minutes, keep an eye on the clock, and we will be back in a few.
Here's our second question. Did Ruth or Naomi risk more in the threshing floor plan if the plan failed? Or were the stakes equal for both women?
In Luke 6:35, Jesus commanded his followers to love their enemies without expecting anything in return, promising that then your reward will be great and you will be children of the Most High. For he is gracious to the ungrateful and evil. If this is the kind of sacrificial care we are expected to offer people who hate us, what does that imply about how we ought to treat our friends? And can we also expect a great reward for loving our friends as well as our enemies?
Let's take a minute and examine friendships with people unlike us through the lens of risk and sacrifice. What unique risks are involved in friendships involving people from different backgrounds or perspectives, such as ethnic, racial, socioeconomic, generational, or political differences?
Here's a final quote for you today. From Jesus and Ruth, then, we learn that loving our friends beyond their worthiness and without regard for personal benefit allows us to participate in bringing God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Our burdensome, difficult friendships often become the places we encounter God's kingdom in new, life-changing ways when they cost us more than we expected. Friendship can save the world. Chapter 7.
In the final minutes of your time together, revisit your plan from week 1 to take a risk and actively love a neighbor this week. Have you taken the plunge yet? If you have, how'd it go? If you haven't, when will you reach out? If you're feeling nervous about it, is there anything this group can do to help you find some rest in the midst of the risk? Finish your time together by answering these questions and praying for a moment. It's been great to be with you. Only one more week to go.